forgot to turn the fan down. Hold on. I forgot to turn the fan down. Give me just a sec. Do that and share the link everywhere. Okay. Set up. All right. Okay. I think I got everything set up now. Hey, Jilly, good to see you. Make sure I got all my pictures and everything ready up and ready to go. Hey, B-Ball. World's still divided because of Trump. Many people are not getting vaccinated when it's safe to do so. And I don't know. I don't know about all that. Look, I'm not a Trump fan by all means, but that does not mean, yeah. I'm not anti-vax. I'm not pro-Trump, but there are questions and there are things that do not make sense when it comes to the vaccine. So, welcome you here, and this is a place where we discuss things. So if you want to discuss it, we can, we'll discuss it. But just let me finish getting my stuff set up here. Now I just had this picture. Now I can't find it. Go figure, right? Look up. This is wild because I looked it up on my phone and I had no problem finding this picture. And then I'm on my laptop and now I can't find it. All right, there it is. Okay. All right, I think I got everything ready to go. Make sure. Oh, hey, Cheryl. Good to see you here. Chili Love has it figured out. Okay, so I want to talk, okay. So I wanted to talk about it's a clip that I found of Joe Rogan talking about suing CNN, and he's talking with Tom Segura about ivermectin and his experience with when he got sick, and there were some points that he brought up that were pretty important, I think, because he brought up the fact that the only reason why there are certain drugs that, medications that cannot be talked about, like ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, and I think there's a couple of others, but they cannot be recognized as treatments, because if there is a treatment, the emergency authorization for the vaccine can't be approved. So there can't be any available treatments, and then only then can the emergency authorization go through for this injection. So that's why they keep playing down that. And honestly, the fact that they are so hell-bent on pushing that through, they could have saved lives. They could have really honestly saved lives from that, because I've heard so many stories where people have gotten a hold of that and taken it, and they've gotten better a lot faster than if they hadn't, right? But no, we can't have treatments, and if you can't have a treatment, then they're okay if those people die, so long as they can get their emergency authorization for an injection that we don't know anything about. We don't know what's in it. We don't know anything about it. And even if we did, I mean, if you look back at what I was talking about with the Gardasil supposed vaccine, it's the same game plan. They bribe politicians to make it mandatory to give to children. They lied about what was in it. They fudged the results when it came to the trial studies, right? They manipulated the trials, lied about the results and stuff. And that was a vaccine that wasn't rushed through. That wasn't an emergency authorization. That was just a regular one that still had to go through all the steps. And they still found a way to, lie about the ingredients, lie about the trial results, bribe politicians to make it mandatory. Oh yeah, Jilly, I saw that where he was been pushing it, and he's getting booed. And the thing is that's what's so wild about watching him push this vaccine or injection, is because he says whatever is popular with the crowd. He doesn't give a shit if it's right or not. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if it's true or not. Okay, he'll just say whatever it is that the crowd wants to hear. And for him to go up and know full and well that the people in his audience do not want to hear it about this injection, well, it seems like there's somebody a little bit higher than him pulling the strings. And B-Ball brought up a good point, which is he ignored it. And a lot of them did. Even when they knew about it, what they did was they got their stocks in order. They were selling and they were buying. They didn't say anything about it, even though they knew about it. Now they're so worried about our health and safety, right, that they're going to sit on this information until their stocks go through. Their stock they have to make sure that their stock trades go through first before they alert the public. Right? Does that make sense? It does not. Coercion, bribery, forced medical procedures are always wrong. Yes. Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't think that Trump is a big thinker. I'll put it that way. He's not big on thinking. He's a rich guy that's, and people just bend to his will. He's used to throwing around his money. He's used to throwing around his fame. And the people that he surrounds himself with are always telling him how great and awesome he is, just like every other rich person on this planet, right? But one thing is, he does know how to work a crowd. And for some reason, he doesn't care about working that crowd anymore. So what's the incentive for him, do you think? What do you think that is happening to where all of a sudden he's going against all instincts that he's ever had before? Don't shed on me. Julie, I gotta remember that one. Oh my God, I gotta tell James one. Don't tread on me to don't shed on me. Yeah, I mean, they just keep people in a constant state of confusion. You got all these people that were anti-mask, and now all of a sudden they're wearing masks because they I don't know. It's just like we've all lost our capacity to think about things. And just to say, hey, you know what? And it's just like 9/11, because trust me, they all love to draw the comparison between 9/11 and the lockdowns that we went through, right? They'd say this is the new 9/11. They kept saying it, this is the new 9/11, the new 9/11, the new 9/11. And it is to a certain, not in the way that people are taking it, but yes, it is. It is, because what they're doing is they're using, you know, what we're going through to their own benefit. Do I think that these people who have demonstrated that they don't care at all about our health and safety, in fact, they're willing to sell it to the highest bidder, right? The people that they were passing out the tobacco checks on the Congress floor, the same people that send people to wars, the same people that deny people a living wage, the same people that deny people health care. They care about our health and safety? Or is somebody paying them to say that? So that's the biggest thing. And so because they get massive amounts of money from Big Pharma, and Big Pharma right now wants these injections done. They've been wanting these injections done. And they have to ignore treatments like ivermectin. They have to ignore any kind of, preventative care. They're not out there talking about, exercise, eat healthy, take vitamin supplements, or, make sure you get sunlight, just take care of yourself, be a healthy individual, because that's not something that they really want us to do, because they make way too much money off of people being sick.
Gym membership?
Yeah, if they cared about our health and safety, they'd be passing out gym memberships. But they don't do that. Do they ban tobacco? Do they ban alcohol? Do they do anything like that? Do they give us health care? They're not doing any of those things. And even if you look at previous instances, like the swine flu that happened, or whatever it was called, I forget the technical name of it, that happened back in about like 2011. Did they do any of this stuff back then for that? They didn't go for lockdowns. I remember the fear and the paranoia and the threats that they were throwing around with that one, and Ebola. Did they do that for the AIDS virus? Did they prevent people from having sex after they found out about AIDS? Did they put everybody on lockdown and make sure that they weren't, fornicating? No. But for some reason, this one is different, right? There's something that should be setting off alarms with that. The fact that they're treating this much differently. The fact that there are practices, right? Event 201, Dark Winter, several others, SPARS, yes, where they practice for this. And yet, even after practicing, they were still unprepared, even though they did test run after test run after test run. where they said they were going to be short on medical supplies, where certain things were going to happen, they were still caught off guard. Why is that? Is it because that's what they wanted? Because if they didn't want that, they were told that that was going to happen, and yet they didn't prepare for it. So, you know, doesn't make sense. Let's see, look at New Zealand. The leader did a great job with the virus. She didn't ignore it. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak to New Zealand because it's been a while since I've heard anything about that. Well, I can tell you about how we're handling things here. And that's what I'm talking about, is that the fact that even if, let's say that some made up country, goes out and let's pretend, okay, give me a made up country name. Okay, so let's pretend that the island of ABC, okay, they go out and they say, you know what, we hate America and we want to go and release a deadly virus on them. Do you know that we have demonstrated how vastly unprepared, how easy it would be for this country, ABC, to come in and destroy us if we had something that was like super, 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 super deadly. But they don't care about that. It makes our national security look like a joke. It makes all of this. There's so many things about, and I'm not just talking about Republicans here, B-ball. I'm talking about all of them. Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, walking around, no mask, telling everybody to stay 6 feet apart while they have their dinner parties. They don't care. Do you think for a second they would risk their lives? They love themselves. They don't want to do anything to hurt themselves. And yet they go around walking around without a mask. A lot of these politicians do. You see them on airplanes taking, group pictures, not a mask in sight, right? I mean, this was before like the injections. They didn't care. They weren't worried about it. Now, I know that they have the luxury of, public health care, the best health care. And they've got money for all their, as if they had copays, but even if they did, they have the money for it. They have the money for all that stuff. But at the same time, I do not think that they would take risks with their health. Nancy Pelosi, who remembers when dinosaurs emerged on this earth, she's walking around without a mask. Okay? So I think we're going to be okay. Like, they keep telling us stay away from each other. And the whole time they're going to their lavish parties with their donors and their other, reptilian type disgusting co-workers. They don't care. It's not serious. It's a joke to them. They say, hey, wear a mask. Everybody wears a mask. And then they're like, hey, I bet I can get them to not wear masks. Masks don't work. Everybody takes their mask off. And then they go in and say, you know what? Watch what, I'll take it up a step. Watch what I can make them do. You got a double mask. Then everybody starts double mask. Like people are double masked up in the middle of the woods. Not a soul in sight, double masked up. And they're just laughing at us. I'll tell them to stay at home. I'll tell them they can do this. I'll tell them to stay 6 feet apart. How many people have died from suicides due to loneliness or losing their job or losing their home? How many people have died because they were forced to quarantine? I'm not quarantine, forced to be in lockdown with abusers, domestic violence, the deaths from domestic violence from this. I mean, maybe not even deaths. How many people are for the past year and a half now have been women, men, children have been living with abusers nonstop, unable to escape their help. Think about that. What about homeless people? They weren't concerned about that at all. Did anybody care about the homeless people when this happened? Nope, they didn't. No, the streets are lined with them in California.
Not do it.
Well, no, they're definitely not healthy because they're living on the streets. But, it's wild because, Texas went through and look, I got my bone to pick with Texas, but especially, given recently with what they're doing. But, when it comes to the heartbeat bill, but they went and lifted the mask ban and all these other bans. So right after they did that, you could see I think it was a baseball game where there's thousands of people that, the stadium is packed. Did all those people drop dead? I just went to a carnival here. Hundreds, if not, thousands of people should be dead right now. For some reason, I'm still alive and kicking. I worked drive-through where I had people literally cough and sneeze in my face. Still alive. Now, I'm not saying that if you're extremely young or extremely old, or if you're immunocompromised, something like that, like, got cancer or something like that that's going to mess with your immune system, that you shouldn't take precautions. You absolutely should. Even if this never would have happened, like let's say 3 years ago and it's the flu season, of course, wear a mask, stay at home, distance yourself if you are one of those groups. But I mean, if you look in just New York alone, and I know I'm rambling a lot, but look at Cuomo. He's taking young, healthy people, children, locking them up in houses alone, and he's sending grandparents off to death camps, basically. I mean, speaking of 9/11, he committed his own 9/11. How many thousands of mamas and papas did Cuomo kill off? Stop talking about that because he's a pervert. So we're not talking about that anymore, right? Because him being a pervert is like top news. And we're just going to forget all about the grandmas and grandpas and all them that were in the nursing homes. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out that, look, you can hate Trump as much as you want to about this, but, they've all failed us. And they've been failing us. They've been failing us for a long time. Always, I would say, always, forever and always. They have always been like this. There was no golden era of, everything was great until the Republicans came in, or everything was great until the Democrats took over. No, it's always been like this. Our nation was built on the genocide of one race and the enslavement of another. Women couldn't vote. Black people weren't even people. Okay, like they treated animals better than they did African Americans. And then they just tried to kill off as many indigenous people as they could. Our country has never been great or fair or equal. Now, for some people, because I know that people like to go back to like the 50s, right? Or was it I think it was the 50s, when people could buy homes, certain people could buy homes and they had pensions and benefits. College was cheap. You could be a janitor, work 40 hours, get weeks off in vacation. You'd have a pension after 20 years and you could retire. Just after 20 years, you could retire, right? You have a brand new car, brand new home. Your wife could stay at home. Your kids would be going through college. But that was only for a certain group of people in America. Not everybody got that American dream. Certain people did. And that's why I can see why those people that came from that feel like something's been taken away, like things are worse off. And it is for a lot of people, but that's only because we're comparing that to what only certain people got back then. Because I can promise you, not everybody got that same treatment, because even back then, Black people were denied loans. There was systemic racism. They couldn't vote, right? We had segregation. So it wasn't like a big, glorious time to really prop up as some, beacon for what we should strive to go back to. What certain people had back then, and by certain people, it was, mostly white, right? Not all whites, but some whites could do that. That everybody should have that opportunity. Everybody should be able to do that here. Of course, that should be something that we kind of strive for, but not, I wouldn't glorify the past like that. So I'm totally off topic, totally rambling. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to glorify the good old days, because the good old days were only good for some people. So let's take what they had, which was, prosperity, opportunity, a thriving income, benefits, a retirement fund, all those things, the comfort of being able to work and have something to show for it, being able to not stress and constantly worry and having your everything taken away from you, that should go for everybody. But, let's see. Oh, Liam's here. Hey, Liam. They use gene editing tech to sterilize a population of wild mosquitoes in only one generation. The males with the edited genes would mate and produce sterile offspring. Yeah. Yeah, that's another one that was severely creepy about it. I'd like to see, because they started doing the injections back in January. I think it was like as soon as Biden, pretty much as soon as Biden got in office, maybe a couple of days before, a couple of days after. But now it's September, so that's 9 months, right? We should be able to start seeing if the people that got that are having children, and if they are having children, are they, because women are actually pregnant for more like 10 months. So here in the next couple of months, we'll be able to start seeing, and I really hate to say that, because these people that trusted what they were told should not be used as experiments, right? But we're going to find out really soon about these claims of infertility. How is it affecting, these moms that got the injection while they were pregnant? How's it, what effect that has on that child that they give birth to, if they do? So we'll see. We'll see. I really hate that there's even a question about how that's going to turn out for these women and their and men and their children. It's awful. See, how many die every year from poverty, cancer, heart attack, medical mistakes? Medical mistakes is a big one, Jelly. Huge. Why are you not a mod? Let's fix that. Add moderator. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, the flu's going to just magically return. Somehow the flu is gone because people wore masks, but COVID is rising because people didn't wear masks. How's that work? How's that work? Yeah, skeptical. Yeah, down with U.S. imperialism, 100%. Fuck that shit. Free thinker, hey. I hope you can inspire others with the suggestion I posted. Hold on, let me scroll back up. Striking while the iron's hot. If they can cram Fauci DNA in a forever pill, they will. Yeah. So, hold on, let me see if I can find medical mistakes kill 250,000 every year. It's a third. Did I scroll past your, if you don't mind, just repeating it so I don't have to keep scrolling. It says, because you said something about, hold on. I lost it now. Yeah, you were talking about your suggestion. So hold on, give me just a second. I gotta get a drink of water. Man, I get so long-winded. I keep talking, and I always forget to bring my water up here. Hold on. Oh, well, look who decided to join us in the chat. It's Jimmy Young Monotalk. You should check his channel out. I'm going to go ahead and warn you. I am biased. He is my husband. Okay. We do live streams over on his channel. Usually every Tuesday or Wednesday, but we pretty much stick to Wednesdays around 10 or 11. We'll start up. But he's on his third channel because YouTube censorship is insane. Yeah, he keeps getting his channel deleted. He's in Facebook jail for 30 days. Even our website, DIYliberty.org, we had a picture taken down because it didn't agree with their standards or something. Even though we're not, I mean, it's not like we're out there posting like crazy stuff. It's just, we're just pointing out the stuff that is happening. And he got it taken down. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, that's his channel for now. So far, you know, fingers crossed it's still working, but you know, we'll always keep putting out, you know, information. Yeah. So I don't care how many channels they take away. We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Let's see what. Let me see what you were saying, Jilly. There you go. Oh, you know what? Because Jimmy used to be a moderator. Now he's a moderator. Because they keep deleting his channels every time I make him a mod. I have to redo it. I keep forgetting. B-Ball, you were asking about the infrastructure bill. Please, 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 shadow banned refugee. He has gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. He has worked in the fossil fuel industry. He worked like pipelines and stuff. I think he said he worked on the Dakota Access Pipeline. And he went through this with a fine-tooth comb, and he did an excellent job of breaking it down. He was on the Combo Couch before, and then tonight, he may still even be live right now. He's on with the Political Matrix, and where he was talking about it. Very knowledgeable, lays it completely out. It's not the infrastructure we think it's going to be. Because trust me, these psychos that are in charge, they don't do anything unless they get something. And that something always comes at a cost to us. So, I mean, how much can you trust somebody that votes to bomb innocent civilians in other countries? You know, I mean, you can't. If they're willing to bomb innocent civilians abroad, I promise you, they don't care about you either. So this is more of it's not infrastructure like highways and bridges and things like that. It's more like pipeline infrastructure. And with pipeline infrastructure, you get a lot of what's the word for it? Where they take your property. Shit. I'm drawing such a blank right now. They take your property. You know what I'm talking about? Immediate, not immediate. Eminent domain. So they will they'll pay you, or at least they'll try to pay you, but it's only like a fraction depending on how many people go in with it. But either way, they're taking your house and they're taking your land, and you're not going to get what the amount of money that you sunk into it. And now you're forced to go live somewhere else. BlackRock is buying up all the property in Texas. Bill Gates is going around buying up farmlands, buying up land. They're all buying up all these things. Thank you, 6875 NYC. Yeah, I was like brain fart right there. Just what was that? So you have to be very careful. Heck, even if you're lucky enough, or planned ahead and work to make sure that you can go and buy a house, make sure there's no fossil fuels underneath it. Or, something like that, because good luck, they'll come and take it away from you. They did that here. What they did was, and this was maybe 100 years ago, it was the weirdest thing. All the courthouses that had all the deeds, to people's houses, because we're talking about poor Appalachians here, that mostly they didn't have the deeds themselves, right? It was either lost or maybe they never had it. It was just like handed down from generation. But all the deeds were at the courthouse, and all those courthouses, one by one, burnt down. And then after that, they said, if you couldn't prove that that is your land, well, guess whose land it was after that? The coal mines. Very strange, right? Just a coincidence that all these courthouses would burn down. And it's just a coincidence that, these coal mines would end up with your land after that. And it's not just with fracking. They do it with coal mining. They'll do it. If Walmart was to put a store where you live, they'll find a way. But that's the thing. They don't ask us like, hey, can we please have your property? They take it, just like they do our rights. Like with 9/11, they didn't ask, they took it. Now they put it like a big fancy, theater show behind it, but they took it. They took your rights. They took your freedoms, everything you do online, everything that you say in front of a camera or any electronics. Hell, I know it sounds crazy, but even your fucking refrigerator can spy on you, because there's smart refrigerators now that are connected to the internet. You can just walk up and say, fill my cup with ice, and it'll do it. Right? So, or whatever it is. I don't know, because I'm not rich enough to buy those things. But you can give voice commands, and it's connected to the internet. They can spy on you with your refrigerator. That's the level of dystopia we're in. That quarantines do not last this long. They, at most, depending on what the virus is, it could be anywhere from a couple of weeks, couple of days to a month. I mean, even if you're being generous, 2 months. There is no quarantine that lasts a year and a half. You cannot go and make a baby, carry a baby, deliver a baby, and teach that baby to be able to sit upright and to start, eating solid foods during the length of a quarantine. That's not how a quarantine works. A quarantine, people don't go out and have essential jobs. None of this is right. None of it is right. None of it is medical. Masks work in hospitals. Masks don't work if you have a beard, if you do not have a proper seal on your face, and you're not even supposed to wear the ones with the ears. It has to go around the back of your head. And people are just wearing it, touching everything on the shelves, right? Touching the debit card reader, moving their mask around, hanging it off their, rear view mirror in their car, reusing that for the next couple of weeks. That's not how this works. That's not any of this works. I worked in the healthcare field. I know how PPE works. That ain't it. That is not how quarantine works. That is not how you stop an infection from spreading, or a virus, bacteria, anything. That's not how it works. It doesn't. There's no quarantines that last a year and a half. And if they did care about health and safety, they would have made sure that everybody stayed in their homes and were taken care of. They would have made sure everybody had food and water and all that stuff. It didn't happen, did it? Because, capitalism has to keep churning, and empire, whatever. But to go back to what, so we covered the ivermectin thing with Joe Rogan briefly. But that was the main takeaway that I got from that. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, terror break. I like to see people wear them like chin straps. It's like, what is that doing? I mean, I'm not saying like everybody's got to wear a mask, but just saying like, that's just how ridiculous it all is. And that's supposed to stop the spread. Oh God. Everybody, my hunter is here. Just ignore him. He's, actually, you know what? Let me see. He's gone. He adds nothing to the conversation. I'm sorry. He doesn't. He's a racist and an idiot. Well, I mean, those two things are pretty much synonymous, but you know what I mean. Healy Steve, I'm an essential worker, and I'm sure I've been exposed to COVID hundreds of times. Yeah, I work drive-through. People were disgusting. I mean, they go and they reach into their sweaty bra and pull out money and cough on it, and here you go. And they always want to touch your hand when they do it. They just, here you go. There you go, sweetheart. There's some money. Not to mention the people that, coughing and sneezing on me. I'm touching money, which has been in God knows how many places, up noses and in butt cracks and everything else, right? I'm touching that money, handing money out to other people, their debit cards. Ugh. I mean, working in those kinds of areas is basically the same thing as being around kids, because kids are cesspools of infection. So if you can survive in that job, and if you can survive being around a kid, I think you're going to be okay. Let's see. Let's see. If you can smell fart through a mask, you can catch any virus. Yeah, that's not a thing that I like to think about at all. Because there's, you've been in stores where you pass people and you can smell things that you don't want to smell. And then if you're smelling it, it's just particles in you now of them. Ooh, so gross. So gross. We're going to move on from that. So, I don't want, Brian, I don't want Gavin to win California again, but guess what? Even if they replace him, they'll replace him with a different asshole. It'll be the same thing, different asshole. Yeah, Jilly, I am too. To be quite honest with y'all, I was working like 60, 70 hours a week when all this stuff started happening. I was like, please lock me down. Please, I want to go home. I want to go home and I want to sit and I want to just relax. I want to spend time with my family. I don't want to come here and get yelled at and sneezed on and make pizzas. Like, please, I wanted it. But that's the introvert in me. Like that's the hermit in me that I have to constantly fight every day. Right. But yeah, it's not good. Even though, hell, I love staying home, I don't think that we should be forced to do so. That's not how this works. I should have the choice if I want to, and I can, to stay home. Other people, they shouldn't have to. How many, I know somebody, and I don't know if I could say who it is, but a young person that I know, and I feel so bad for him because, he's in high school and he's been on lockdown, and he missed out on like a year of schooling, and then like he shows back up and it's like it was like a time skip, like being in a coma. Like you were a freshman, and then now you're a junior. Like it was the weirdest experience for this person. But I totally get it. And they missed out on, dances and football games and sports and friends. And, kids need that. Everybody needs at least some social interaction, but especially children and teens, they're learning how to learning all the social, not cues, but they're learning how to be around other people, how to communicate, how to resolve conflicts, how to make friends, how to have relationships. It's just so important for them. And I just feel so bad for these kids that they're the most helpless people here. And, they're the ones getting screwed over the most. As an adult, I can leave the house if I want to. If for a kid, they can't. They have no power over their own lives. They're too young a lot of times, especially the smaller children, to even understand what's going on, let alone be able to do anything to change it, even if they did. It's just awful. And that's why we do what we do, is because, for people like that, for the kids and, everybody else, for everybody. Let's see. So I think the last thing that we were going to talk about on here, and I saved this one for last because, buddy, I am so riled up about it. Jackson Hinkle has been an annoyance, to put it nicely. He has been, he's usually one of those people that I can see that he's a hack. I know that some people like him, but he doesn't offer anything of substance to anybody. He won't talk about the Great Reset. He won't talk about the World Economic Forum. He won't talk about any of this other stuff. He's pro whatever Nick Brana tells him to talk about. End of story. So he's, I've been trying to learn more about him, and especially MPP, because as soon as I heard about MPP and Nick Brana, I was like, this is sketchy, right? I'm always going to be like, I'm never going to trust anybody that says that they've got the solution or the answers, or they're going to come in and fix everything, especially when they promise all that stuff by telling you to vote, which we know is a sham, right? Well, hey, if you're a Republican, look at Trump. If you're a Democrat or, in any way, shape, or form left-leaning, look at Bernie Sanders, right? We've got a whole history of our elections being completely rigged, either by banning, non-landowners, African Americans, women, poor people. It wasn't until like the past 50, 60, or about 60 years now, that everybody could vote. Now, once everybody could vote, then like all the other bullshit kicked into high gear, because it's like, now that everybody can vote, now we're going to close down polling stations. We're going to gerrymander like we've never gerrymandered before. We're going to make sure that there's going to be just crazy obstacles. Oh, if you want to vote for a certain person, you got to register for that party 6 months in advance in New York. Ballots going missing, machines that we have no idea. We just cast a vote and send it off, and just cross your fingers and hope it got counted. And even if it did get counted, hope it got counted for the person you actually voted for. And the person you actually voted for, 9 times out of 10, is somebody that the corporations put out there in front of you, because you have to have a certain amount of money before you can run or get on the ballot. There's a money test there. You have to have a certain amount of money to be able to compete in the games. If you look at the presidential, especially the presidential ones, nobody makes it up on that stage unless they serve a narrative that they're okay. They have to be okay with that person. It's a rigged game. There's no good people and bad people or okay people. All the people that were up on that stage, they knew for a fact it was okay. Now, certain factions had their pick of who they wanted, because they thought they might be better for this corporation or this industry, but overall, you're going to get this approximately the same shill. Because if you look at what happened with the past couple of presidents, right? You've got Obama, Biden, and Trump. So Republican and Democrat, you've got more of a supposed, what was promised to us was a left-leaning Democrat in Obama. And then Biden, he wasn't fucking around with that. He wasn't even trying to pretend. He was like, yeah, fuck all you guys in your healthcare. I'm going to fund the police. I'm going to do all these things. He didn't care. He wasn't even trying to seem like that. Okay. So, but all these presidents did the exact same things. They're bailing out the same corporations. They're continuing the same fight against Julian Assange. They're all continuing the same thing. So it's almost like they don't make the decisions. It's almost like those decisions come from like a shadow government or something, like maybe a group of international conglomerates or security states, right? It's crazy how that works. But let's look at this. And this is what's got me so heated, because I have to point out how screwed up the election system is, because here you have MPP coming in and they're promising you things that they have no plan of actually going through with. Because the up until Franco questioning, where'd that picture go? Now, damn, I just had that picture up and now it's gone. Up until the interview, well, I say interview, but Franco went up and started questioning Nick Brana, which will never not be entertaining. The hardest interview questions I ever heard asked were surprisingly from Ron Placone. And he asked him like, hey, why are you making another party when you keep calling it a third party, but we already have these parties. We have the Green Party. We have the Democratic Socialists. We have Libertarians. There's a bunch of alternative parties. So why are you making another party? Why aren't you putting that energy and effort into the Green Party? He's like, well, it'd just be easier to something like that. Like it'd just be easier to build something from scratch rather than to reform something from inside, which, there could be merit to that. But hey, why do you think the Green Party hasn't won yet? Why do you think that they are just like totally complacent with moral victories? Like I don't even think they're trying to win anymore. All you get is like, you know what? You went out there and you did a thing. Congratulations. There's a Green Party member, like for like city council, there might be a Green member for, something like that, tucked away in some cubicle in some dusty, forgotten city. But you're not going to see a Green Party member as a senator or a president or anything like that, where they can actually do something like substantial on a systemic level, right? So give me a sec. I'm going to find this picture really quick. But yeah, so Ron asked him some pretty damn good questions. And he even asked him about the election rigging, because he knew what happened to Bernie. He said, how do you plan on overcoming something like that, where they pass all these laws and they make it extremely difficult for third parties to run? And Nick Brana's answer for everything, I swear to God. And the whole time he's smiling like a damn lunatic, just the whole time. He's just, well, we'll create a movement for that, Ron. We'll create a movement to overcome election fraud or election rigging. We'll create a movement. Oh, for third party, how are we going to get started? We'll create a movement for that too. I'm not a robot. This is how humans act. We always smile like this. This is what we do. This is a normal human face when I'm talking. I never quit smiling. I had surgery to keep this face going. constantly, even when I'm terrified of Franco's questions. I just always smile. That's Nick Brana, man. He freaks me out. That is not a normal human reaction at all. Like everything in his body language when Franco was questioning him was he was like his body was postured away. He's looking around, looking for a bush to hide behind or a pillar or something that, I mean, like a taxi cab he could jump into and escape really quick. But the whole time he's just doing this. Okay, yeah. Well, we'll discuss this. I mean, you can read our mission statement, and I gotta get out of here. And you could tell he was pissed off and he was scared. But he had no normal. It wasn't like, hey, man, you know what? That's a valid, concern that you have. But here, let me clear that up for you. Let me clarify some things. Like, I don't want you to get the wrong idea about it. So let's talk about this, okay? None of that. None of that. So now, what's his new grift? The new grift. You've got grifters working with grifters. You've got like Panquake working with MPP. Like it's like a Voltron of grifters working together. Jackson Hinkle working with MPP. And now everybody's favorite sucker, Paula Jean Swearingen. Now, I love to support Southerners, Appalachians, anybody that's really, well, pretty much anybody. But I have a soft spot for Southerners, right? And I, got to meet her. I talked to her. She had a history with, fighting to protect water, to protect Blair Mountain. She was real. She was real. And then the Justice Democrats got a hold of her. And what'd they do? They trotted her out. They trotted her around, used her for all the donations. She didn't get them. It went all the way. It went over to like AOC and the squad, those people. And then she didn't get any of that. Like they totally turned their backs on her. They had no intention. Even when they were running her, I remember seeing on TYT, Michael Schur and Cenk Uygur were talking about it. And Michael Schur was like talking out of his ass saying that we'd never vote for her. We would vote for her. I would have voted for her. They gave me the wrong ballot the first time. Well, they said, well, maybe it's because she ran against Joe Manchin, another Democrat. So they ran her against Shelley Moore Capito. Again, raking in more money that they gave to other people. Never, ever focusing on, nobody ever actually trying to defeat the system. Nobody ever actually going in and looking at how can we really get this through? How can we actually overcome these obstacles? Nope. But they used her for that money, just like they used Bernie, right? Just like they use AOC, and then AOC spreads that money around to all the other, corporate Democrats, right? Now, Nick Brana looked at that and said, we could do that. Now, mind you, they've been working and operating now for, 5 years? Where's all that money going? This is like their, first candidate, I think. I mean, they've been around for a while, but they've been dragging their feet. For a while there, I didn't even hear anything about them. So let me find this picture. God, I brought it up and it just disappeared. I could tell I need to stop and just calm down for a second, take a breath. Okay. Because I feel I feel the tightness in my chest. My voice is getting higher. I'm like, this guy. It's that point. It just pisses me off. I'm tired of being used. I'm just tired of our people getting used. And I know that she went into this with every ounce of her wanting to fight. This was a real thing for her. Her babies, her grandchildren, her friends, her family, her community. She wanted to protect them. I know that. But somehow along the way, she kept trading off, and all she focused on was winning. And she gave away her power. She traded off her power. And now she's a mascot. for fundraising, point blank. That's all she is now. And either she knows and she's helping them grift, or she's an absolute idiot. And I don't think that she's an idiot. But I also can't, I mean, either one is hard to believe. It really is. But it has to be one or the other. Either she's too dumb to realize it, or she's in on it. I hate to say that about her. God bless her heart. I know she had all the right, motivations, but that's what happens. This thing, politics, Congress, Washington, D.C., it's like Chernobyl. You don't come out of that the same person. It's not, there's no way that you can safely walk in and say, I'm not going to be susceptible to this. It's going to happen. You cannot walk out of that. So, and they trade off like, well, I'm not totally selling out. I'm just making small compromises so I can win. This goes against my morals. This goes against my values, but hey, I can win this way. And the next thing you know is they're out there promoting wars, denying people health care. And they say it's all in the name of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? The ends justify the means. These are the things that they tell themselves. So that way they can make all these little moral compromises, and they don't even realize how far they've shifted away from it. Their original goal. What are you even doing? Paula Jean is never going to get in there because she's working with people that are using her constantly. Either they're using her for money, or they're using her for credibility. But they have no intention of ever putting her in an office. Ever. So let me share this picture. Come on. There we go. All right, share the picture. Oh, this picture has set me off so much. It has made me so irate. Yeah, the screen's black out. I'm bringing up the picture right now. Hey, Mark. But thanks for letting me know. Hey, Ray Walker, Lucky Burrito, Choosy. Oh man, everybody's gang's all here. Look at this crap. Oh crap. Sorry. Now, y'all see the red bandanas they're wearing? First of all, I don't know. I would have snatched those off of Hinkle. This frat bro, empty-headed jock. And I probably shouldn't use that as an insult, but ew. Nick Brana, these most vapid, photogenic people. Like they're just there. This is a photo op. They are using that red bandana as a fucking photo op. These grifters, and who's right alongside with them? Well, right there you see Paula Jean. She is right there grifting with them. There's no way that Paula Jean talked to either one of these people and said they are worthy of wearing that shit, because Jackson Hinkle has never worked a real job in his life. He's never worked a job where he needed a union. And I don't think Nick Brana has either. I promise you, the only way that these people have ever gotten calluses is from playing golf too much or counting too much money. They have no idea what that means. I want to ask him next time Jackson Hinkle's doing a live stream. I'm going to ask him. So, what does that red bandana mean to you?
It's not an ascot. That has real meaning. And the reason they get to walk around and wear that, that's why I have my channel name, is because that name has been used as a slur when it should have been a compliment. It should have been a compliment, but they took it and they made it mean something dirty and ugly. And now these people get to walk around wearing red bandanas and get applauded for it. Meanwhile, those are the same people that will make fun of the people here, make fun of us. Those people right there, they have no idea about the history of that. They don't know what that fucking costs people to wear. It costs lives. It costs their jobs, their houses, their homes. It costs them everything to wear that bandana. It costs them everything. They sacrificed. They were killed. They had bombs dropped on them to wear that bandana. Did y'all know that? Because they don't talk about that. They don't tell you that in the history books. They dropped bombs on Black Wall Street in Tulsa, and they also dropped bombs on the miners when they were, and you know what they wanted? Here's what they wanted. They wanted better pay, safer working conditions, and freedom from the company stores. That's it. Because when they got paid in coal script. And coal script was only good at the company store, which the coal mines owned. So it's like Walmart employees getting paid in Walmart gift cards. And they owed their houses. They had watchtowers to watch the miners as they would go about their day. That's the kind of hell they lived in. They would rather have a miner die than have a mule die in the mines, because it was cheaper to replace a coal miner than it was to replace a mule. And do you know where, and I know a lot of people think, oh, well, it's just a bunch of poor white people. Where do you think those coal mines where they got employees? They went to Ellis Island, and as people were getting them up, immigrants were leaving the boat, they would promise them these jobs, these wonderful jobs. You know why they did that? Was because they would all speak different languages and they couldn't communicate with each other enough to organize. That they would be culturally different and they would fight with each other. They couldn't talk to each other. And they would have different camps. They would have camps for Italians. They would have coal mine towns for the Germans. They would have coal mine towns for African Americans. They'd have them for, just the Irish. So they would keep everybody all separate. And so when they were denied those things, they said, okay, well, we want a union. We want the United Mine Workers Union. We want you to recognize that. And they went on strike until they got the union. And what happens when they went on strike? Well, the coal mine bosses went and hired the Pinkertons, had them come in and throw widowed women whose husband died in the mines, children, men, women, and children that sacrificed their men that went in there and sacrificed their health and their lives in those mines, threw them out in the streets. They treated them like animals, worse than animals. Like I said, mules were treated better than coal miners were. So then you had the battle of, and everything just kept bubbling up, because you could only keep people down for so long. And then you had the 1920, you had the Battle of Matewan, 10 people died. And then 1921, the Battle of Blair Mountain. That was the largest armed insurrection since the Civil War. I don't know, maybe since that still might hold the record there. I have to check that out. But they dropped bombs with shrapnel on these people, because they wanted just a better wage, safer working, not completely safe. They're working in coal mines. They just wanted safer working conditions and the freedom to get paid in actual money instead of Chuck E. Cheese coupons. So for that, they deserve to die. For that, they deserve to be bombed. And where it all fell apart was they sent in the armed guards, and they didn't want to fight them. Their fight was not with them. Their fight was with the coal mines, the bosses. It wasn't with them because a lot of those people, they didn't see them as enemies. But they still got their union. But guess what? Now that union is like backfired, because now that union actually keeps these horrible practices in place to where they have jobs. They work right, the UMWA works right alongside with the coal mines. Just like, not all unions are great. Just like there's police unions. Nobody's a fan of, hardly anybody's a fan of that. But yeah, it's protecting a job that endangers people's lives, that pollutes our environment, that causes cancer in children and adults, that causes, miscarriages and birth defects and asthma. If you look at any kind of coal mining towns, you'll see that the levels of cancer and birth defects and miscarriages are exponentially higher than any other place. And when the coal mines were asked about that, they said that it was because of consanguinity, which consanguinity is a lawyer word for inbreeding. So every time you hear somebody crack one of those, oh, they're from the South, they're inbred. People in Alabama, they fuck their cousins. Well, congratulations, you're a bootlicker for the fossil fuel industry. Great job. That's just not the case. And they knew that. They had to retract it. But you can look it up. It was a thing that happened. They actually did that. So that is the history. Do you know that the Buffalo Creek disaster, where they had a coal slurry dam, which is where they put all the nasty toxic stuff, all the runoff from coal mining, it's just a disgusting toxic sludge of chemicals and water. And they half-assed built it. They had reports they knew it was going to burst, and they just let it happen. And they wiped out miles of towns. It was nearly 1,000 people that died. And it happened at night. So a lot of these people were just hit in their sleep, they had no time to even run or escape. Just their children washed away, their husbands or wives or moms. They watched them all die, like just watched them ripped away. I know this is dark, but this is the history of why that means so much. And they bury it. They don't talk about the history. It's too painful for the people to talk about here. So even their children, the people that survived that and grew up and had families after that, they don't tell their children about it. It's too painful to talk about. They don't want it. They want to pretend. They just want to move on. They don't want to talk about it. And we forget about it, and nobody knows that it happened. Just one generation away. Nobody knows. They totally forget. The cancer. I went to school. I had elementary school kids died from cancer. Middle school kids died from cancer. Teachers died from cancer. High school, the quarterback died from cancer. What was the common thing? They lived near these coal mines. They lived near these creeks. That with the runoff, and the water is orange, and the water is frothing, and there's bubbles, and it's green, and it's blue, and it's, can't drink the water. They make fun of people here for drinking pop. The South, all they do is drink Mountain Dew and have bad teeth. Well, you know what? We can't drink the water. Can't trust the water here. And this little fucker is going to wear that red bandana like it means something to him. It don't mean shit to him. It don't mean shit to Nick Brana, and neither does Paula Jean. They're all props. These are props. Like, you see comedians just bring out these props to use and point to them. Carrot Top, or who's the guy with the watermelon? That's all they are to them. That's what it means to them. They're just props to be used so they can raise some money and take some really sick looking Instagram photos, brah. That's all it is. So guaranteed, I promise you, I got you in my sights, Nick Brana. I got you in my sights, Jackson Hinkle. And I'm going to do all of my research, and I am working with people. I'm working with DJL7 because he knows MPP like the back of his hand. I am going to dig so deep on these people, and y'all are going to hear all about it. Because after they use her to raise money, where do you think that money is going to go? Who's getting that money after she loses? Look at this little entitled twit. He has not done, I mean, he hasn't even done like cashiering. His dad's in marketing. He does, all he does is like surf and look pretty. He's a gym rat. That's it. He doesn't have a single independent critical thinking thought, maybe in his whole entire life. He just does what is group tested, what gets the clicks on Instagram, what gets the clicks on Twitch. You should have seen the live stream that it was me and Hell Satan and Tender Lungs and Propaganda. We were all watching this live stream earlier, and he was talking about how he's going to be the biggest, most famous Twitch streamer ever, bigger than Hassan. That's all he cares about. And that little motherfucker's got that red bandana on. Don't mean shit to him. I will ask him about it because he did this once before with Yelbro. Yelbro, I called him out on that shit. He had one and only call-in show where Jordan asked him questions because he said that he read Whitney Webb, that he watched Slow News Day. So he asked him questions like that came from like her articles and stuff. He didn't know it because he never did. He's so fake and phony. And that's all it means now. I get shit on. I get made fun of because I'm from here. I have an accent. Oh, everybody, when they want to sound stupid, what accent do they do? Well, they talk like they're from here, don't they? Well, I just don't have a single thought in my head. I'm just some dumb Southern hick. That's what they do. When they want to sound dumb, they talk like me. If they want to make fun of me, they call me a redneck. And then that boy right there is using that for a photo op, and it's totally fine. Totally fine when he does it. He doesn't get called white trash. He doesn't get called stupid. They're like, yes, Jackson. Oh my God, you're such a hero. You're one of us. You care about people. Because nobody else knows what it means either, because they don't. Hardly anybody. They just don't know the meaning behind that. They make fun of us for the way we look, the way we talk, the way we act, the way we do things. But you know why maybe we're so backwards here is what they want to call it, backwards. We're so far behind because we went into the mines. They mined the coal. So his parents could have electricity and they could read and they could have all these things. And the people here sacrificed their lives for it. So the rest of the country could travel by train and have electric and do all the, and have innovation and have, industries, and we died for it and we're dying still from it. And all they do is as they sit there and after they got done exploiting us is make fun of us after the fact, not even be thankful for it. Like, thank you for all the sacrifices the people there made and are still going through. Let's do something to fix that because you helped us. And now it's our turn to help you. Nah, they're just going to make fun of us. So that's why I got a really big fucking problem with this. And Paula Jean should too. If she had 2 brain cells in her head or an ounce of integrity, she would never have stood there with these people and let them do that. Ever. Hacks. So I'll make sure everybody knows what a hack they are. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm not ready to come back on camera yet. Just give me a second. I know the screen's going to be black, but I'm just going to read through the chat and I'm going to get caught up with what everybody's been saying. But man, fucking piss me off. Yeah. And snort, that's another thing. Thank you for pointing that out. Until recently, it took coal to make steel. So even after we stopped using like, coal-fired, trains and things like that. Yeah. Up until recently, we've been using it for steel production. So all those skyscrapers and all those things that we use steel for, all those buildings in Los Angeles, you're welcome. But hey, they'll take it. They'll keep taking it, right? They'll take it. They like those buildings. They liked all those things. They liked the fact that their parents had electric. They liked all those things, that they were able to travel. They wanted all those things. And at the same time, they keep taking and then laughing at the people they're taking from. Doesn't that sound familiar? It's almost like the politicians. It's almost like every other corporation out there. They just laugh at us as they take and take and take. They take your rights, they take your jobs, they take your wages, they take your pensions, and they're laughing at you because you just stand there and take it. Just stand there and take it. That's it. Look at them. They're not even doing anything. Look at them. They're just grateful that they still have a scrap left. Huh. Idiots. So that's what I'm talking about. I am tired. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of catching the blame. The people here, everybody here. We did a service. Nobody in this country today if it wasn't for those people. You wouldn't have the things that you have right now if it wasn't for those people. And it's a joke. And the people that gave it to them are jokes to them. So what they do to the people here is going to happen to everybody. And it is happening to them. I tried to warn him about Joe Manchin. I tried to tell him, I said, this isn't a West Virginia problem. He's not just ruining things here. He decides what you get to have in California or Texas or Iowa or Wisconsin. He gets to decide that, and he did decide that Saudi Arabia got military money so they could bomb civilians in Yemen. He funded that. So it's not just a state problem. It's not just a country problem. He is a worldwide global problem. And that goes for every senator in Congress. He voted down a living wage. Now people care about him. Now people say, well, gosh, Joe Manchin just really is just the worst. Yeah, well, you didn't care before because you didn't think it was going to affect you before. And that's why I tried to warn you. Just like I'm trying to warn you. I mean, not you people. I mean, I know everybody's watching here, and I know y'all get it. But I try to reach those people that just didn't want to hear it. I tried to reach them. I tried to warn them. I really tried to warn them. I didn't want anybody to have to go through what we went through. And I could see it coming for them. Now they get it, but it's after the fact. So maybe we can, I don't know, avoid all this for the next thing. Maybe they could work with us here to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Because I don't think that Joe Manchin should be able to deny people a living wage or health care. I mean, I feel bad for those people that didn't have any inkling of, that was going to happen. And all of a sudden they were just like, well, geez, I didn't know that's how that worked. How does that guy over there get to decide what I get over here? It's just, it ain't good. It's just bad. So let me go into the chat to see what everybody's saying. God bless it. It's just, that's a lot. It's a lot to build up and it's a lot to take. I mean, I've heard all the jokes. I've heard all the, have had people ask me when I go visit out, oh, well, you're just so articulate. Because I guess they figured since I came from West Virginia that I just walk around going, like that's how I was going to talk. I don't know. Or they were shocked that I had shoes on. They thought everybody here was barefoot. They asked me about the outhouses. I'm like, I don't see an out. I don't know anybody that has an outhouse. I don't. Sorry. I mean, you might have to go like maybe 80 years back in history and maybe ask those people what it was like. Because we've had indoor plumbing for a while now. We've had all those fancy things. It's just crazy. And then I've even had people straight up ask me, like, in all seriousness, like they weren't asking me like the most offensive, dumb question. Is it really true that they marry their cousins there? Bless these poor, ignorant people. They don't even know that West Virginia is a state. They think they're talking about Western Virginia. But I'm the idiot because I have an accent, right? It's just fucking nuts. And other people blame, what's that one guy that one just Dave something, and he worked for TYT, and he actually, this is a few years back, I did a video on it, and he was talking, he goes, well, if you didn't want poison water, then you shouldn't have voted for those people. And so it's just like, well, I can say the same thing about you, dude. Hey, if you didn't want massive homelessness, oil rigs in your ocean, and no health care, no living wage, then maybe I shouldn't have voted for those people. Like voting actually matters, but it's the most Neanderthal argument in the world. And even, what about the people here, even if that was like the reasoning? So what about the people here that didn't vote for that voted like the opposite of that? So do they deserve to be poisoned? But that's too many critical thinking questions for those types. Whatever. Yeah. Ever Inui. They marry their cousins everywhere. I actually looked into this to figure out where this stereotype came from. And I think that the coal mines had a lot to do with it, but we're also scary to people. I mean, if you come from a big city, hustle, bustle, everything's always constantly going. And then, you go to this town, you see one store there, people, they talk different, their way of life is different. You see like 3 families in the city. You think, well, obviously they must be inbreeding to keep the genetic lines going. You're like, they fill in the blanks. That's not how that works. Like we can actually travel, go to other cities. But these people that didn't know anything about here just came in, and I'll have to find, because I found a really interesting article on that about how that came to be. Because some of it was, propaganda from the coal mines, but some of it was also just people making up stories. They saw Deliverance one time, and then they come here and they're like, oh gosh, or they saw Wrong Turn. Fuck Wrong Turn, man. Oh my God. You know what I'd love to do? I want to do a Wrong Turn style movie, but it's kind of like Wrong Turn meets like Freddy, not Freddy, but Jason, right? So it's going to be like all these kids, they go off to this camp, and it's a camp for underprivileged children or underprivileged teens, right? So they get there to the camp, and there's this guy, because this is actually a dream I had. There was a guy that this is all a dream, and I was like, man, that made a like badass movie. And so like it's a camp for underprivileged teens, okay, but the groundskeeper there, he's a redneck, and he's always standing there with a sickle and being all mean and intimidating, right? But all these campers start dying off, and like when some of them get together to go investigate in the woods, what they find out is that it's actually a program that's being run by like these wealthy people, like a World Economic Forum type, or what's that one that Alex Jones went to with the owls? Not Bermuda, but you know what I'm talking about. But that's basically what was going on there. Oh, what's the name of that? Let me look. Alex Jones, owls. I don't know. Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove. So it's like a Bohemian Grove type thing. So they go out, the teens go out into the woods to investigate, and they find out that it's actually like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Klaus Schwab out there, like in their Bohemian Grove. That's their like yearly ritual to go out there and hunt these like poor kids. So it's kind of like a reverse of the stereotype, you know? I don't know. I thought it'd be an interesting movie, but I'm poor and I don't know how to make movies. But hey, if you can, that's just my idea. But feel free to take it. Oh, Independent Left News was here. Hey, oh, good night. But how? Oh my God! Because in the dream, I guess it was really vivid because they're out there like scared. They're running around there, and they think it's like, but the caretaker, the groundskeeper there was actually trying to keep the kids safe, you know, and they're like, stay out of the woods, youngins, don't go in there or else you'll be killed. And it comes to find out he was just trying to keep them safe because he knew like Bill Gates was out there with like a, you know, a hammer or something ready to kill him. Yeah, like Get Out, like Rich hunting down. Yeah, I've never seen Get Out, but I knew that that was like the premise of it. I should probably watch that. I'm really behind on movies. Yeah, you're like, so basically Get Out. Yeah. I had an idea like that one time, and it was and I was like, man, this would be the best book ever. I gotta write this book. I gotta write this book. Come to find out, it was the plot for that TV show that Scott Bakula was in, Quantum Leap. Because I was explaining, I was like, man, this would be the best book ever. And they were like, yeah, that's Quantum Leap. I was like, what the fuck is Quantum Leap? And I looked it up. And I was like, oh, yeah, so Quantum Leap. Okay. I really thought I had something right there. But if you want to see something like that, that's kind of like a play on that, the stereotypes, check out Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's so good. I'm not going to say much more about it other than yeah, it's really good. It's a little gory, but it's one of those like it's a comedy horror type movies. Like crap, Owl Festival. I was trying to think of the word Bohemian Grove, but all I can remember was Alex Jones and owls and, you know, setting fire to stuff. I haven't finished Twin Peaks yet. I'm like halfway through season one. I like it. It's campy, but it's a little creepy. That's a good one. No, I haven't seen that one, Surviving the Game. Hold on, let me write that one down. I got a list now. Tenderlungs gave me a bunch of movies about, because I was talking about how a lot of the cowboys were actually black. And so he started giving me all these movies where it was, because it's like, why is John Wayne the cowboy? It's, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Surviving the Game. Okay. So he gave me a bunch of movies to check out that were a little bit more representative. Bohemian Grove. Yeah. It's weird. These rich people are weird. Bunch of just weirdos. Soft weirdos. I mean, soft literally. They've never worked. They don't know how to survive. They are scared of us. I mean, look at everything they've thrown at us. After everything they've thrown at, they've taken almost everything from us. They've tried to make life as hellacious as possible. They want your life to be so much torture. And yet we're still here. We're still here. We're still surviving. And that has got to be terrifying to them. They're like, oh my God, we've taken everything. They're still coming at us. Holy shit. What are we going to do? Nancy, I don't know what's going to keep these poor people down. I mean, after all, they don't have any money. Why do they continue to live? That is them. And we keep coming at them. It's like Jason. We are the Jason of rich people. Like, they're like, oh my God, we thought we killed them, but they're back again. And they're going to get us. Yeah. We're not going to kill them. I mean, we just want to live. Can we just live our lives? Like, they're lucky. We just want what's owed. They're lucky we're not after revenge, to be honest. Because if we wanted revenge, that would be very nasty. But we don't want revenge. We just want to be able to live our lives, be able to work and relax and take our vacations and enjoy the short time we have on this planet without ruining things or killing other people, poisoning the planet. You know, crazy. But look what the miners got killed over. Safer jobs, to be paid in actual money. You know, that's it. Safer jobs, be paid in actual money, and a little bit better pay. I mean, I promise you they weren't asking for, I promise you they weren't even asking for what they were worth. Just more than what they were getting paid. And not to be paid in Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Can you imagine working at Chuck E. Cheese and at the end of the day they say, okay, good job, and they just hand you a stack of tokens? Like, people will be like, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? No way. Look, owls are cool, but they are a little freaky. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I came up with one night and it was just sitting there on the mailbox. Like, I mean, they're beautiful, majestic, but they're a little freaky. They look like aliens. I'm judging. I am. I think it's the eyes. It's because the eyes are so big. Like, and the fact that when they stretch out their legs, they looks like they have these little short legs, but when they stand up, they have like another 2 feet of legs hidden in their bodies. They are cool. Yeah, yeah, Choosy put it good. Owls are cool, but their images have been adopted by secret society. Also, a great horned owl is capable of killing a man easily. Okay, see, maybe we'll justify that. A healthy appreciation of owls from a distance. We'll do that. Only thing tougher is eagle, but the owl get real. Oh, hold on, scroll up. Yeah, I'm not a big bird fan. I think birds should just be wild, you know, like just you do your thing. You're birds. You got it figured out. You can fly, you can hunt, I'm not gonna, you do your thing. I'm not gonna try to interrupt that. Just like the bears and the raccoons and all the other stuff that lives around here. Y'all know what works for you. You just go do your woods stuff, stay out of your way. I'm a human being. I'm at the top of the food chain, but only if I'm not in the woods with a bear or an owl. Yeah. I'll leave your woods alone. You leave me alone. Oh yeah, 260 degrees of vision. Yeah.
Don't mess with those. Yeah, Peaches is a pretty bird. But that like my style of pet is like a dog. I want something that is dumb and loves me no matter what. You know, I could throw a stick and he'll run and go get it. That's my level of pet. There's a lot of upkeep. There's a lot of care. You have to be very careful and very attentive if you have a bird. And lucky you're one of those people. You have that energy. You're very caring. So you have that knowledge to be able to do that. I do not have the knowledge or the patience for a bird. I just want something dumb. It'll poop in the yard. You know, like I can't. I can't. Oh, hey, Evan. Oh, you got strikes on yours? Yeah. James is on his third channel now. I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised that you're even still up. It won't be for long because YouTube will come after you, I swear. I mean, they already are. I checked out some of your Odyssey stuff. I looked at the one where you did on Tokyo Shimp. Yeah, because he was coming after a bunch of us. And I was like, who's this Tokyo Shimp? I typed it in. I was like, holy shit, Evan's already done the homework. I know you bring the receipts on that too. You had it all laid out. Oh, ravens. Yes, ravens are amazing. Or wait, are ravens and crows the same thing? Hey, Rob. I don't know, but I like how, I mean, they're very intelligent. They investigate when one of theirs, because I was reading about this and they thought that they would do funerals because when one of them died, all the rest of them would gather around. But they actually, these scientists found out that they're not having a funeral, they're doing an investigation. They are like trying to find out what killed it. It's like Raven CSI, and they want to find the killer. They can talk, but if you earn their respect, they'll bring you shiny things. So that's kind of cool. I mean, there's probably a reason why who was it saying that might have been Ben was talking about. Yeah, there's a reason why Edgar Allan Poe wrote about the Raven. It's like, yeah, Raven would remember, and a Raven would hunt you down and drive you crazy. I could see that happening. It makes more sense now. Interesting. Wow, I did not know that. Ever a newie. Ravens have the largest vocabulary of any bird. But I like them. I can respect that because they have a large vocabulary, but they don't just talk to anybody. They'll only talk to what people that they want to fuck with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently, I'm in-Q-Tel. In-Q-Tel. I work for the CIA. I drive a hoopty that's broke down, but I'm being funded by big CIA money. Gotta love it. There's no shortage of crazy or stupid out there these days. All right, let's see. Let me turn my camera back on. I just got after the whole Jackson Eagle thing, I was just like taking a moment, just calm down, because man, that city boy got me riled up. Shouldn't let him get me that pissed off. I should, you know, but damn, that just I saw that and I got so triggered. But that's okay because you know what? I'll get mad, but I can't even get mad because I actually kind of feel sorry for him because by the time I'm done researching him,
I got nothing but pity for him. There's a lot of people I'm going to be reaching out to. All the people that have left the party already that were on the inside, I'm going to be talking to them. I mean, talking to DJ L7, who, I mean, he knows everything about this stuff. I mean, he knows about like the financial stuff and all that. I'm going to be doing my own research when it comes to pouring through their records. I found out just a few things just today after this. I was talking to everybody on Discord, and ICU was telling me about Nick Brana's past, about how his dad's is in charge of the finances for MPP. I'm sure that's not shady at all, right? I mean, they have volunteers there that don't get paid to do anything, but there's people at the top that make six figures, and his dad's in charge of the money. A little shady. A little shady. Plus, I think she also pointed out that he used to work for the Republicans, or was that Hinkle? Might have been Hinkle. Shoot, I don't want to say it now, but one of those people worked in the Republican Party to make sure that the Obamacare stuff went through for their state. So, yeah, I don't want to say just yet, because I can't remember if it was Hinkle. I'm getting confused. So I'll get all my reporting together. I'll get all my information together, and we'll compare notes with everybody, hear everybody's stories, and we'll go back through, because I know Franco did some live streams with the people that left the party where they were talking about their experience. So I'm going to go back through that. I'm going to dig up everything I can. So, and I'm going to come at them with everything I got, because you don't get to just do that. These are people that make fun of everybody here. And at the same time, they want to take our culture and use it for a prop and use it for clout and, a photo, a photo op. I mean, it's like, it's no better than at Ola Mills. When they'll give you something at Ola Mills. Have you ever taken your kids, or when you were a kid, they take you to Ola Mills, they'll dress you up in all this weird stuff. They'll put a boa on you, or, put you in a sailor outfit or something, put you in one of those radio flyer wagons, take your picture, put the fake backdrop behind you. That no different than what just happened, what we just saw with MPP and Jackson Hinkle and all them. And it's just, the whole thing is very cultish. I think it's super weird. Everybody that comes in contact with them, it's like the Borg, right? They were like functioning, normal, independent thinking people. And all of a sudden they come in contact with MPP and they're like, yes, MPP is the greatest. Have you seen our latest newsletter? This is what we're doing. And if you have any questions, please refer to our latest statement on these things. So weird. I mean, like, when you see with like Lee Camp, Jimmy Dore, they're just like, yes, MPP is the greatest. I mean, they had that interview over on Franco's. Franco, Allie, Glory, and Jackson Hinkle, when they were talking about elections and, actually how to make change and stepping away from elections. They were criticizing Jimmy Dore and different things. And what is the next? They were criticizing MPP. Next thing that you see, the very next day, Jimmy Dore comes out with doing damage control, right? He comes out with damage control, where he goes and registers for the MPP party and has all these top, head honcho party members on to do damage control. So they don't do anything. They don't talk about anything unless it's approved by Nick Brana himself or whoever it is that's running Nick Brana. It's so weird. It's just like watching the board. Like, I remember when you used to talk, remember when Lee Camp used to talk about like conspiracies and all this stuff? I mean, back when this was years ago when Abby Martin was on RT and then she had Breaking the Set, and they were all talking about things that nobody would talk about, and now he got his mind right. MPP is the best. Please go join MPP. It's so creepy. It's so creepy. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. Like, where are you? Are you still in there? Blink twice if you need help, Lee. Blink twice. Do you need help? Do you need an adult? Please. Just, just quick. All right. Let us know. Communicate. Just blink in Morse code, SOS. We'll get you out. We'll get you out of there. Okay. It's so bad. It's so bad, man. It's such a joke now. I mean, I knew right there when he was bringing on Nick Brana and they were saying, well, all these people, they're infiltrators. They just want to cause up, trouble and all this stuff. I'm sorry. When he had Nick Brana on and Nick Brana said, all these people are infiltrators. All they want to do is stir up trouble and break us down from the inside. You shouldn't listen to them. They're problem people. Just listen to me. I'm Nick Brana. See, I'm smiling. You can trust me. I'm Nick Brana. And I approve this message. Okay. What's the next question? That's more accurate. That's more accurately how it went. But I knew when that would happen and Lee Camp didn't bring the people on, I'm like, well, shouldn't you actually, because of course that's what Nick's going to say. Of course, Nick's going to say, oh, those people are crazy. They just want to destroy the movement. They just want to stir up trouble. Of course, that's what Nick's going to say. Wouldn't it have made more sense to have brought the people that left the party on that had all those things to say? Or even if he did have Nick Brana on, to have those people on as well afterwards, or maybe even at the same time? But he didn't. He never followed up with that from like, hey, well, let's investigate these claims that Nick Brana has. Okay, well, let's hear what their side has to say. Let's see the evidence from them, because Nick Brana's just saying that we'll create a movement to fix all this. Creepy. I want to see one time where this guy just quit smiling. Just one time where he's like, oh God, you got me. Okay. You got me. Okay. I'm not happy about this. Okay. You throw me off guard. I cannot fake a smile. He never stops smiling. It is the fakest thing in the world. Even when he's angry. I know I keep going on about this. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point, James. Yeah, because he's getting paid. He's smiling. That's exactly it. He's smiling because hey man, I got all your money. I got your money. Hey, they trust me. I'm running interference for the Democratic Party. I'm making money, baby. I got 6 figures. I'm good. I got health care. I'm good. I got no reason not to smile. These idiots are eating it up. Jimmy Dore, Lee Camp, they're eating it up. I got people doing like the grifting for me. Maybe that's why he's always smiling. I'm not talking about the people that went into the party, because I know that they went into it with the best of intentions. They went into it thinking like they had true intentions of building a party that actually represented them. There's no shame in that. But that was the sell. That was the con. And while you're out there volunteering, making no money, Nick Brana's kicking back, making the big bucks.
There's something gonna happen.
And that's where the Democrats that can't make it, that aren't cutthroat enough, that for the Democratic Party, the ones that they don't mess around with, the outcasts of the Democratic Party, where do they end up? MPP. Like Nina Turner. Like, look at the Democrats that flirt around with MPP. The only reason that they're there is because they couldn't hang with the big dogs. They couldn't get into Hillary Clinton's, dinner parties. So they go to MPP thinking that they can get in on the ground level on something and run something. Promise. Oh, Evan, MPP, you're probably smarter for that than I am, because I'm kind of checked out, but I still pay attention just to keep tabs on what they're trying to do to us. Basically, that's all. That's it. I mean, I don't care who's in office, who doesn't, whatever. It doesn't matter. Get rid of one asshole, they'll put another one in place. They have an endless line of assholes ready for that job. But MPP is the Movement for a People's Party. First, he had because here's what's it could be just about money. He could just be doing something like that. But here's another factor is the fact that, okay, so you had Bernie supporters. Okay, this is all the Bernie supporters right here. Okay, so after all that started going down with him in that first election, right, there was a fraction of those people, they split. Now you have the people that voted, that kept with the Democratic Party. Then you had the people that went to Our Revolution. Then Our Revolution split, and then they went over to, then there was, so now you got a group of Bernie supporters here. They're still in the Democratic Party. You got a group of Bernie supporters here that are part of Our Revolution. Then a fraction of them split off into Draft Bernie. And then a fraction of those people split off to form MPP. So now this group that was united in what they wanted is now fractured in multiple places amongst multiple groups, just totally splayed out. And even some of those people, ended up going Republican, voting for Trump. Some of those people went to the Democratic Socialists, but just the people that Nick Brana was able to convince, that was the fracturing that he did with all those people. One man in charge that worked with Our Revolution, Draft Bernie, and MPP that fractured of that group, the fracturing that he has done. But this time he's got it figured out, guys. This time he knows what he's doing for real. He's got it figured out this time, guys. You can totally trust him because he's Nick Brana and he knows what he's doing because he's failed at enough independent parties to where he knows what he's doing now, right? Right. Creep. There's shady shit with Bernie's wife, Jane, too. Yeah. Yeah. I don't trust them. I don't trust any of them. Look, the powers that be, government, corporations, all those people, intelligence agencies, would not let anybody that was a threat into an office at all. The only people that get those offices are people they can control or are in on the scheme. They either know about the Kool-Aid, they either made the Kool-Aid and are okay with, serving people the Kool-Aid, or they've drunk the Kool-Aid themselves and they're like totally like, I totally believe in the Democratic narrative and that sometimes you just have to kill innocent civilians for freedom. You got to bomb them to help them. Of course, how does that not make sense to you people? You got to drop bombs to help the women. You got to kill the people in that country if you want to help the women in the country. If not, it's sexist. And here's another theory, Tom. I got a theory, and it's getting late, so I'm going to wrap this up here soon. My theory is they're going to be drumming up support. They're going to be slandering, and not that they really need to try. Joe Biden is a walking disaster. He can't string together 5 words to make a complete sentence without saying something horrible or coherent, but they're going to do whatever they can to just let him be his natural self and not cover for him anymore, to where people turn against him. Because if you notice, there's a lot of talk about women, care about the women in Afghanistan. I mean, these are the same women they've been blowing up with their bombs for 20 years, but and that also are being tortured by the terrorists that they created. But now we care about the women. And also, what do you see in Texas? Bounties placed on women. So now there's going to be like this outcry, this moment of united girl power, where Kamala is going to be put in office. And we're going to have Kamala for 2 terms. Kamala, Hillary with a tan, is going to be president for 2 terms. They're getting us prepped and ready for it. This is what because they have her as VP right now just to kind of get you like kind of okay with it. Like, okay, she's president adjacent. Okay. And people know that if something happens to him, she would be the president. Okay. So now that's kind of like they're grooming people for that. They're grooming people by having her as VP. Nobody wanted her. Nobody liked her. She was losing. And somehow she ended up as VP. And at the same time, they're drumming up all this, all these outrageous stories about how women are being suppressed. Let's take back our power, gals. Let's vote Kamala 2024. And it doesn't matter if we vote for her or not, because if they want her in office, they'll make it happen. So, but I think that's where they're just trying to condition us to being okay with it. Because I smell fuckery. I smell fuckery. Huh? Oh, parties. Oh, fuck parties. I'm so over it. None of that's going to do anything. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard my whole thing about it. Democrat, Republican, Green. I mean, look what the Green Party did. They did the Democrat 2.0. They did the high school play version of what they did to Bernie back in 2016 with Howie Hawkins. The Greens are that it's just as corrupt. And that's why I was a Green Party member. I was like, you know what? I would have still been a Democrat if I was okay with this. The reason I went to the Green Party is because I thought y'all wouldn't do this shit, but here we are, you rigging elections. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I look around and just like, this whole thing is a scam, isn't it? They just want me to think that if I vote hard enough, that something will change. The problem is Joe Manchin. The problem isn't that there's a system that keeps putting Joe Manchins in place, or Joe Biden's, or, whoever, fill in the blank, Donald Trump's. It's just that I'm not voting hard enough. No, that's not it. That ain't it. So now my focus is on, things that they actually care about, because they don't care about your vote. They care about their money and their status. Oh, it seems like let's get truckers on strike. Let's get these Amazon truckers to go on strike. Let's do a crowd fund where we can support them while they go on strike. We can still, supplement their paychecks while they go on strike. Sounds good. And we can do mutual aid. We can help each other out, help our communities out, have gardens and feed the people and house the people, and, have our own like Habitat for Humanity where we go and build houses. So people, not that we have a shortage of houses, it's just that we don't have enough money to buy them, right? We can't buy these houses because the banks own them. And we work at Walmart and stuff like that. Like, I can't even buy my own house, let alone buy houses for homeless people. So, you just got to do what you can. We'll figure it out. I mean, we've survived this far. That's what's so scary to them. So we'll make it happen. Where there's a will, there's a way. If anything, we are good at surviving. We know how to do without. We know how to keep going. So, okay. All right. So that being said, there's 23 people here. We'll make it happen. Oh, boycott banks and plastic cards. Trucker strike has more power than Congress does. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you for agreeing. I've been thinking about this. I'm like, I don't want just any strike. Now, I'm not saying like everybody, 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have a general strike. I want a plan. I want to fund these people, and I want to fund the people that could do the most. Okay. I mean, I could get Little Caesars. I tried that to get the people when I was manager there, try to get them to go on strike. But I'm like, overall, that might help that store, even if we won, but it wouldn't be like a systemic thing. Now, how could you really like systemically like get a strike going that would do the most amount of good? It's truckers, man. We got to get to the truckers. I think they'd be down for it.
I think they'd be down for it. That's Everett Center that's done at Bohemian Grove. Huh? Oh, they set up the sequence when president leads the other into a good cop, bad cop theater. Yeah. Independent, like you have two narratives, team red, team blue, and whoever's in charge, it's either, you see it's the same thing. Like if a Democrat is in charge, what Fox does, and then when the Republicans in charge, then the Democrat, like CNN, MSNBC, they do the reporting like Fox News was doing, like just a few weeks earlier when it was their president. So it's like, yeah, it's just a back and forth thing. They do the same thing. It's so it doesn't have to be this way. We can have nice things, okay, guys? Like we deserve better than this, but it's getting late now. I'm just rambling now. It's just like, y'all deserve better than that, we all do. Nobody deserves this kind of fucking treachery. To have everything ripped away from them, to work, 30 years just to find out that your pension's gone. Or, to not have health care, to have their, like, Amy Vilela had her daughter die because of a completely treatable thing. They should have known that that was a blood clot. They could have looked at her and her symptoms and known it was a blood clot, but they turned her away. She didn't have insurance and she died. And nobody deserves to have their kids lost from that, or to, or parents or anybody else. Nobody else should lose their life over that kind of shit. It's just bullshit. We deserve better than that. And then you got people saying, well, Ben Shapiro, well, healthcare is a commodity. Fuck off, Ben Shapiro. Healthcare is a commodity. Bootlegger. These people. Hey, he gets paid very good money. He's like a high-end hooker. Very, very good money to lick that boot. I mean, for him to be like that hard on the boot, okay, be better. You'd have to make good money for that. It takes a special kind of person to be that much of a fucking bootlicker. I'm all over the place. All right. I'm calling it night. I keep saying that, but I'm like, I'm having fun talking to y'all, but it's getting late. And got stuff to do tomorrow. Got the babies tomorrow. Got both my boys. And James got to work, so things to do. Nice things in the richest country in the history of the world. How are you going to pay for that? Yeah. I don't know. How are we going to pay for that? I don't know. Maybe quit bombing everybody else into oblivion. Yep. Free Assange. Stop the wars. Don't take no shit. I don't know. Be kind to everybody, because that's the one thing they don't want us to be. They don't want us to be educated. They don't want us to love and be kind to each other and to help each other. So the biggest slap in the face that you can give these corporate fucks is, learn something new every day and be kind to your neighbors. So that being said, I'm really jumping off of here this time. It was great having everybody here, and big thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out with me tonight. And I will catch you next time. I'm going to be doing a Star Trek. It's just a fun, silly thing, just to break the monotony of all the pain and misery and torture that we always talk about. So we're going to do a fun one next time. It's going to be a Star Trek one. We'll wear my Star Trek uniform. We're going to go into all things Trekkie, because Star Trek Day was the other day. So we're going to be talking about all of it. It was the, I think it was the 55th anniversary from when the original Star Trek came out. So I'm excited about that. We're going to nerd out, man. We're going to nerd out. We're going to talk some Trek. So, all right. So that's going to be coming up here in the next couple of days or so. But yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later. Check out DIYliberty.org, and love you. Later.